Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland for Shimmerz Paints, and today I'm making a layout using lots of Inklingz and Creameez paints, and I'm creating kind of like a bold striped background, although I wanted it to come out from underneath a piece of paper, so a torn strip of paper. So you'll see how that works out. So basically I'm starting off with taking a wide paintbrush, and I've already put some water into each one of my pots of paint there. So they're all Inklingz and Creameez, and therefore they are hard paints, and I've already put some water in them to soften them slightly and to create some paint that I can use with a paintbrush. So where I haven't got enough water, or I haven't let them sit long enough, I just add a bit more water. Sometimes I can take them directly out of the pot, other times I have to put them onto my craft sheet and add water, and then I can pick up the paint from there. So I'm occasionally drying in between applying, not every time, but sometimes when the paint is particularly wet and it's going to run too much, or I don't want the colours to run, then I use my heat tool in between and dry the layers a little bit. So I'll list the colours that I've used below, but as I say, they're a mixture of Inklingz and Creameez. I'm now just pulling out some more paint and putting it on the craft sheet, and adding a bit of extra water so that I can pick up the paint with my paintbrush and add flicks, and I've done that in the same colours. So the purple one has now got the same paint, purple flicks over the top. So the reason I waited for a bit was so that my layers, my painted bits, stripes, were dry-ish. They don't have to be completely dry, but they need to be a little bit dry for the flicks, splatters of paint to sit on top rather than blend in with the wet paint. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a quick dry with my heat tool. So it doesn't need to be completely dry at this stage, it just needs to kind of be touch dry so I can start working with the rest of the layout. So literally a few seconds blast with the heat tool, less than a minute, definitely will do the job. And it's now enough to, if I was to swipe my fingers across it, I'd probably spread some of the flicks, but I'm just going to, I just want to work with it, and I'll be careful too. Okay, so my plan is to have this big kind of torn strip at the top of my layout. I always like the idea of working on a patterned paper background. I can never actually seem to achieve it, not the entire background anyway, but I do love pattern paper, so I want a reasonable amount of it to show. So I've chosen 3 papers here. They're all from different collections. So I have the star paper is by Create Paper All Heart. The purple one in the second layer is Shimmerz Sparkle City, and the third one is a Pink Fresh Studio from Everyday Musings, I think. So real total mixture there, and the colours kind of went together. I like the colours that I've used for the paints, so I was trying to pick out certain ones that was to go with that, and the stars are fantastic. I've got pictures of my little boy being invested at his beavers colony, I think it's called. So for those who don't know, beavers is the youngest version of scouts, and they start at age 6 here. And after they've been going for a few weeks, they have this little induction ceremony called being invested, where they become invested members of the colony. And my boy was just so unbelievably excited to be invested, and now he's invested. He gets to wear his uniform and he gets a necktie, and just this little ceremony thing. Anyway, he's so proud to be entered into this, or accepted into this group. So I had to scrap the photos from there, of course. So I've got these 2 photos, and I have this little Polaroid that is from the Create Paper All Heart collection, and it says difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations, and my boy doesn't fit in everywhere he goes. He struggles a bit to make friends. but he has been fully accepted into Beavers. He loves it, and it's so great to see him thrive in an environment that he just loves so much. So I'm so pleased that Beavers have accepted us and accepted him, and of course I'm very proud of him. So lovely moment to scrapbook. Okay, so that's why that Polaroid goes nicely with the sentiment behind these photos. Okay, so I'm getting everything kind of stuck down. You saw that I made those paper layers. I've put foam pads in between each of those paper layers so that they stand up slightly. I'm now going in with a bit of tulle or mesh because all the different textures on this layout. So I've just gathered that and tucked it under one of my paper layers. I'm now just adding some tissue paper. Now, because my Polaroid was much smaller than the photos, I've kind of felt that I needed to extend it slightly, and I've done that by using the tissue paper, and also I'll tuck a piece of pattern paper above the Polaroid as well to make that work too. So just getting my tissue paper stuck down, and then I've gone to my sewing machine and added a whole bunch of stitching. So I've used black thread and my sewing machine. I've used a combination of straight stitches and zigzag stitches, so I'm just getting all of the ends pulled through to the back right now. I can't leave them dangling for some reason. It never ever seems to look right. Other people do it and it looks great, but I can't do it. So I'm just pulling all my ends through, securing them on the back with tape. There was quite a bit to do here, so sorry that you're having to watch this, but yeah, nearly there. So I literally, I don't know how you guys do it, but I literally pull through the thread that's on the back, kind of create a loop, and then I can hook it through with a paper piercing tool or something to the other side. So from the other piece from the other side, I can pull through. Okay, so just getting my photos layered up, and they're both mounted on pieces of paper, pattern paper, and just getting those in place and getting my Polaroid, so they're all now stuck down. I was a bit worried about the different heights on the layout because I have foam pads under my paper layers, and I normally put foam pads at the top of my photos and stick the bottoms flat, but that didn't really work, so I had to add extra foam pads. So I have this acrylic title that says Journey, and it is a journey for my boy on this in this particular Beavers group, so the word journey worked really, really well here. So I'm putting that on the layout, but I haven't quite got that stuck in place yet. I do really want to use the title about something about being invested. So I was like, journey to being invested, journey to investiture. But he was so excited about, Mummy, I'm being invested. So I wanted to use those two specific words, journey and being invested. So I decided not to put the word to in. I thought I'd just leave journey as one word, and then I'm going to put the words being invested as my title underneath it. So as you can see, I'm just sticking in a couple of bits of pattern paper there. So I was trying to extend the Polaroid to the right above. So I've done that by using a small square of paper. That's from the Paige Evans Horizon collection. So I'm really, really mixing and matching my collections for this one. And I'm coming in with these crepe paper all heart embellishments. Now I have ended up somehow with this collection twice. Don't ask. So I have rather a lot of it to get used up. So I'm just going through and figuring out which pieces will work. Obviously, it's aimed at girls really, and this is a very kind of blue boy layout. So I was putting out the black and white pieces that worked, and then I love the blues and the greens and the teals that were in this collection as well. So I went through and figured out which ones would work. So I've got think happy, good things are going to happen, no bad days, happy, don't compare. So all of those, oh, and the one at the top is with all your heart. So all of those things work perfectly. So even though this is a girly collection, apparently, there's lots of things in here that worked really well for these photos and this story. So yeah, I think, don't ever discount a collection because it's aimed towards girls or boys, because there's normally things that will work across both. My two children really fit into the stereotypes. He's a real boy and she's a real girly girl, but I don't care. I still managed to scrapbook him in pink and purples and pretty colours, and I still scrapbook her in blues and other things as well, so and greens, that kind of stuff. So I don't care too much about the whole stereotype thing. Anyway, so moving on, I've started to cut out some stars from the remainder of that crepe paper all heart star paper, and I'm just dotting those around the rest of the layout. This area ends up quite busy, quite a lot going on, but I just love those stars. They're it was one of my favourite sheets of paper this year, actually. But I'm kind of conscious all the time that I don't want to cover up all of my painted background that I spent a while creating, so I really wanted those colours to shine through. I do think they do, and I love the way that the whole colour scheme works, even though there's no real light teal and mint in the papers and the embellishments that I've used. I think the colours in the background work really well, even so. Okay, so kind of nearly there now, just fiddling around with the last few details. So of course I've gone in with some sequins by Spiegelbaum Scraps, of course, and I'm just pulling out loads of different sequin mixes and putting out sequins that match the paints that I've got. So I'm trying to embellish the sequins in a kind of tone on tone fashion, or colour on colour. And I've just sprinkled a few purple ones on the purple and blue on the blue and green on the green. So I'm just kind of getting those all stuck in place now. So I'm just using my paper piercing tool and glossy accents to get all of those bits stuck in place. So I move them out of the way, slightly add a dot of glue, and then put the sequin back in place. I haven't oversaturated the paints with sequins. I just want a small amount of sparkle because the paints are sparkly themselves and are so pretty and beautiful that I want to show those off more than anything. So I didn't want to completely cover them in sequins this time. I have done that before. Just coming in with a bit of silver thread to get some tangles coming down. There we go, and I've added a little bit more stitching, and that was purely to go through my Being Invested title, because these little letters have a habit of pinging off at a later date. So I just stitched those down, and that's me done. So thank you very much for joining me today for that very busy layout. I will list the paints that I've used below. And don't forget, if you place an order via the Shimmerz store, put my name in the comments and you will receive a freebie. Thanks so much for watching. Happy scrapping!